Hello, everyone.
Howdy.
It's William and Andrew here from Allegory Gallery. How are y'all doing out there? Not many people are tuning in quite yet. We didn't let anybody know we're going live, so there you go. We had some meetings and stuff. We weren't sure when they were going to end, so we couldn't exactly schedule out the live today. But we're here now. So hang out with us for a few minutes, for maybe a few hours. I don't know how long we're going to be here. Surprise. It is a Monday, so Monday through Friday, we do try to go live.
It is a holiday.
It is a holiday, isn't it? So
Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yes, it is. I forgot about that. I forgot about that today. So yeah, it's been a day here. It's been a weird kind of busy. Like I feel like I'm not getting a lot done, but I'm still working all day. It's one of those days.
I feel very fortunate today.
Andrew's feeling fortunate today.
We have a lot of people rooting us on and trying to help us achieve our dreams. So
It's true.
I think we feel very fortunate for that.
We do. And yes, lots of gratitude for people out there. So yeah, what are you all doing? Speaking of our people out there, how's your day going? Let's say hi in the comments down below if you're out there. We are streaming on Facebook. In most of our groups on our Facebook page, we are streaming on YouTube, our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you don't. It's youtube.com/allegorygallery. And we're also out there on Instagram. So please feel free to say hi out there too. Hopefully our internet is going okay. I've noticed our internet is a little slow today, so I hope we're not jittery or that. I hope everything's coming out okay on your end. For some reason, our internet, probably the weather, has not been the greatest today. I've had a lot of kind of bumps in my internet road here lately.
Yeah, the whole thing, the weather has been terrible here.
Yeah, the weather has not been nice. We have not been to the cottage very often because it's very difficult to get into the driveway. They closed it when they were plowing. It got closed up with ice and snow, and it's not a place I can get kind of in and get myself turned around and come out. But it with our van, it's very dicey if we're going to get out, if we actually do get in. So we have not been going there for long periods of time because the van is like kind of riding on top of the ice, and I don't want to know what happens if it falls into the ice. So we have not been at the cottage very often. So if you've been waiting for something like our lucky boxes, like the inspiration boxes, things like that, we were at the moment of putting the final touches on them, and now we have to like park down the road if we're going to go there, and it's not a parking spot. It's like the side of the main highway. So we are trying to not go up there as often lately until we can get that situation kind of figured out or helped. So that
thank you everybody for your patience.
Yes.
As we deal with the crazy weather.
Yes, and for a lot of the days, even though we've had a lot of wind, we've not had a lot of snow, but we've had a lot of wind, and the power keeps blinking at the cottage, which is also another reason we can't really be there too much. It held up today. Barb was there for a good chunk of today and doing shipping. Yeah, she went in and was working on shipping, even though she couldn't ship today because of the post office being closed for the holiday. But she got a lot of stuff together. You may have started seeing some packing, some shipment notifications coming out to some of you. but she has all-wheel drive, and she has not had an issue that I know of getting in and out. So
we'll just meet at her house.
I know we need to do that, but we're not usually there at the same time that she is the thing. But we may have to. We may have to. So Norma is here, said, spent a very cold, snowy day organizing my beading supplies into a new storage cart. That's fun. That was probably felt very productive, right? Khalidi is here. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Danette is here. Hello, Danette. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of stuff as much as we can here from the house, which is a lot. Andrew made new artwork that we're going to show you today, these new art pins. He's been working on those here at the house and has everything here that he needed to do those. And I've been doing a lot of planning, and we've been planning for the new store. Yesterday, I had to make a trip to the grocery store, and we needed a number of things. So we went to, I went to Walmart, which we don't always like to go to, but when you need bulk stuff or a lot of stuff, it's generally an easier place and a cheaper place to get stuff. And while I was there, I went over to Lowe's and picked up a lot of paint swatches for the new store. So we're going to show you some of these. Andrew has them out, and we're going to talk about what we're thinking of colors for the Johnstown location for Allegory Gallery.
We were going to paint today, but I don't know what happened to the day.
The day definitely got away from us. And we are so used to working on these construction things at night, because every time we've moved the store, we do it at night. So we don't, bother our fellow merchant neighbors. But because we have a person who lives in the upstairs of our building, we got to flip our mentality to not think that we can do this at night. I think that's part of the thing. Plus, Andrew and I schedule totally different.
Mm-hmm.
We're on totally different schedules, and so we got to get that. We got to get that together.
One of these centuries.
One of these centuries. One of these next month or so, more like it. But yeah, we're going to go up and start painting. We're thinking we're going to probably tear down most of the bookcases that's in the building now. They're beautiful because they're there and they're built in, and we thought they might be very useful for space, but they don't make it feel like the kind of boutique feeling we want, and they don't really give us as much usable space as we thought after we really considered it.
It makes a lot of dead spots.
Yeah, there are dead spots. Some of the shelves are not even tall enough for like jewelry busts to fit in. We were thinking we could put jewelry busts up there and display stuff, but a lot of them aren't tall enough for that. So we're thinking that many of them, we gotta examine the floor and see if they were put in after or before the floor was put in. We don't know how long those have been there and how they're anchored and all that, but we're thinking many of them may have to come down. We will definitely repurpose the wood into other things over time. We may leave some of them there, but we're thinking we're going to pretty much have to make the walls clean and blank slate, and we're going to repaint the walls. We're going to bring in a lot of the furniture from our current store and move it there to kind of continue that vibe that we have in the store that people seem to love so much and comment that they love so much. And then, of course, we're going to do a lot of painting of some of that furniture to kind of match the new kind of vibe that we're starting with this. Every location, we kind of start a new vibe. And it's usually a new color story in some way.
The beige store.
Our very first store was blue, bright, like a blue and gray.
Blue and slate.
Blue and slate.
Metallic slate.
Metallic slate. And the furniture was mostly wood.
Or black.
Or black, except our really pink table that we had.
That was just for a window.
Wasn't the class table pink then? Oh, wasn't it? Oh, it was turquoise.
It was a
bright turquoise, which kind of went with the blue. So we had that in the beige store. The walls were beige, and the table turned to white
Like a
or a
cream
cream color. And a lot of our furniture was starting the transition. Some of it stayed dark wood. We used dark wood and white.
And we painted the insides.
Yeah, the insides of the bookshelves.
Because they were so dark. So
yeah, we did paint the insides. And then as we moved into this current location, we went with a green, which was kind of a bluish green, we're realizing. And we painted.
Hard to color correct.
Yes, it is hard. It's when you take a picture against it, it definitely needs color correction. And that's one of the reasons we're looking at a different green now.
It's like
Andrew, the color guru here, is telling me what is best as far as what will work best that way now.
It's like that dress. Is it gold and white or blue and black? And in our store, sometimes the pictures, we had a professional photographer come as part of the small business entrepreneurial thing that we were doing. And some of the pictures, the walls look turquoise.
Yeah, because they had to color correct
the
flesh so much that the walls end up looking turquoise, and they are not turquoise.
No, they're like a bluey.
But I know I would do selfies in the store and do videos in the store. And if you notice, most of my selfies from the store and videos from the store are in front of the art wall, which is white. Because if I do them in front of the other wall, my complexion is completely wrong. And all the color, that anything I'm holding, anything I'm showing, completely wrong. So we're choosing another color, but that is where more items went to white in this store. And now we'll show you, we're looking at some greens and various shades of greens that we're looking at. So we're going to show you that today. Cheryl's with us. Hi, everyone. No time to play with beads lately. Working a few hours tonight, so you're keeping me company. Nice. Not nice you have to work, but nice that you're with us and we're keeping you company. There's Marianne. Hello, Marianne. Thanks for joining in. So we're going to show you that, and we're going to take a look at some pins. Andrew made some pins. These are in the New Day collection on our website, which is the collection we're using to help facilitate the move of the store and also help with our bills since I lost my job at the end of the year due to a fire. So that's a lot of stuff that happened, which y'all know about it. We've talked about it a lot. If you don't, go to our blog post and you can read all about it. But yeah, today was spent, Andrew had some meetings. I worked on some posts and getting these pins in the online store, which took longer than I thought was going to take, weirdly. Sometimes things go in the online store just fine, and sometimes it's like brain freeze, and sent out some emails and some text messages and worked on some planning of stuff. And I don't know. That's cooking. Started some cooking. Marianne said it's warming up finally. That's good. You've been way too cold. Way too cold.
I think I got pushed over here.
We're getting very cold. I think it's supposed to go to like 11 tonight, I think. Yeah, down to 11. It's at 20 now. 20 degrees. It's supposed to go down to 11 tonight. I think this is one of the coldest nights. Cindy is here. Hello, Cindy. Thanks for joining us.
Which Cindy?
Cindy Amador.
Oh, hello.
And yeah, other than that, it's not very exciting here today. Just a lot of, I think it's been more mental plan. I think we're both a little mentally drained as well.
It has been exciting.
I mean, it's exciting, but
I found a casting setup online that will hopefully allow us to do more things. And I think we may, knock on wood, have gotten, maybe we'll get it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's happening.
We have to wait on them.
And so that's exciting. And so we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a new world, maybe.
It's too early to say just yet.
Yeah.
but I just did. So.
And then, yeah, that's it. Wisconsin, 0 degrees. Marianne says it's still -9, though.
Forget it.
No, forget it. Forget about it.
I can't deal with it. Turn the camera and let's look at the colors.
Okay, Andrew wants to turn the camera and look at the colors. So let's do that. He's like, that's enough talk.
We can continue to talk. We'll just look at. So, William, he went to the store and picked up every shade of green.
No, every shade of that kind of green. Believe me, there were lots of greens I did not take. Lots of greens I did not take.
Like that one show where they always, I was like, are they colorblind? Because the greens they pick are like Green Bay Packer green. What color of green do you call that? Kelly green?
Kelly green, yep.
But like, and then one time they painted something that looked like a green screen. I was like, ooh, this is hurting my eyes.
So these are the kind of palette of greens that we're looking at here. Cindy says, watch out, some greens make you look sick. I know. That's what we're trying to avoid too, with our very different complexions, me and Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the greens that I picked out. Which ones do you like?
None of those.
Andrew says, none of those. Are those the rejected greens?
Yeah, so those are the ones that there's some nice ones on there and stuff.
There are some very nice ones, but they're not the vibe.
I kind of have this idea of like a warm sage with brushed satin gold accents and ivory. And so you get this really kind of very zen, kind of very tranquil, peaceful. It'll look good with the warm wood colors. The floor is like a dark kind of chocolatey brown.
It's a very dark brown floor. Marianne likes the bottom left. That's this one, which is Zen Garden. So Khalidi says the 3 on the left.
Here are the ones that we actually picked.
Here, let's
do these. You can put it on top. Can you see it?
I think so. Move this up a little bit.
All right. So this is probably the one.
This is what we narrowed it down to, we should say.
Yeah. So you're noticing maybe more of like a yellow green as opposed. I also took pictures of these samples because to see if they're how different they look. So we have narrowed it down to these kind of. And what is it this one or this one?
It's this one. This one up here, oak moss.
I like oak moss. It smells good.
So those.
Or is it this one?
No. Some shoot it. No.
Tallulah is messing around.
Tallulah is turning off the battery backup.
Great. I don't know why she gets wild when you go on. Like the kittens are pretty good, and then you start talking, and then they start getting wild.
Yeah, so these ones are kind of, we narrowed it down to, we like this, I think it was these 3, with possibly this one, somewhere in here, with as far as like this being the main color, and these being accents, or maybe this being the main with these being accents.
I kind of like how this almost is like, if you took a little bit of gold paint and mixed it with white, you'd probably get these kind of shades.
And this is celery. Cindy says, love celery green. Not sure if this is what you mean. This is the one they actually named celery.
Which seems kind of pale for...
It seems very pale for celery. This is shaw green, baby bok choy, and oak moss. Norma says, I like the one on the top left of the first strip of the 3. This one, baby bok choy.
Yeah, I like that one
Yeah.
too. The other thing is we're thinking of making the bathroom, since it's just such a small space, it's really just one wall basically, since it's in that weird kind of Jack and Jill kind of.
Yeah, what we were talking, a much darker color, right?
I was thinking maybe this one.
This one.
It doesn't seem as dark now
In this light.
but compared to all these ones,
yeah,
which are really pale,
organic garden.
and that way it's a little bit more cozy in the bathroom.
Nicole says oak moss. Yeah, I like the oak moss a lot. I think it's a nice, warm, tranquil color.
We're gonna have to see though, because
Cindy says white accents. Yeah, we'll probably do white or ivory kind of accents
with a little bit of warmth to it. Because our white stuff, we did an antique white, but it's still a very bright white,
super bright white,
and so it
often looks dirty. Like it's not easy to keep clean. You get one little brush against something on it and it looks dirty. And then it also really almost stands out too much. Like you see the furniture and not the product.
And it overshadows.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if overshadows is the right word, but it definitely makes it. It's good in some ways because you can see the colors more true. Because sometimes when there's like all this like wonky, crazy colors, it can make your eyes do funny things.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna tone it down and more of a warmer white.
Vanessa says, I love the darker greens, but darker can make a room look smaller. Smaller, and also, when you're looking at beads, you don't want darkness. We need some light bouncing around a little bit.
I mean, the problem is that space, the way the lighting is situated currently, there's not a ton of light.
No.
And so if we want to have it so people can see what they're looking at, we have to have it a little bit warmer. I also think, or lighter. I also think that that space is a smaller space and the floors are dark. And right now, the walls are kind of like a blood red color. And it definitely has like creepy castle kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Like,
I kind of like it, but it's
I know, but it's like I'm gonna sell like dead baby doll kind of thing.
It's a curiosity shop feel.
Yeah.
Vibe. And they say that red is a color that makes people want to leave. Because a lot of people said, why don't you keep the red? It's really nice. And it is a beautiful red.
And they did an amazing job with the stenciling.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not necessarily our
and
vibe.
Like I said, like they use red in restaurants to turn tables more often, and there have been psychological studies done that red is a color that makes you want to leave. So we don't want a color that definitely makes you want to leave.
I want something that when you see it, it's gonna make you feel fresh. There's gonna feel like it's warm.
And when you look in from the outside, you want to come in.
It's inviting.
And there's something to see from the outside. If it's too dark on the inside, when you look in, it doesn't have that same.
It's like a cave.
Yeah, no one can see what it's about. So yeah. Looks like Susan joined in. Hello, Susan. Cindy says, love red, but people won't want to hang out in red. That's yeah.
I don't like. I like our space, but I'm not like, oh, I'm just gonna stay here longer.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
I think red can be cozy if it's your home and it's that dark feeling, and you are going for that little castle-like feeling.
Where I have to sip like wine and then have a chaise lounge.
Yeah.
And then talk about.
Or red leather sofa or leather sofas. And, yeah, that's the kind of vibe, den vibes. Man cave vibes maybe nowadays. I don't know. Vampire man caves. But
so no.
Yeah, so not doing that.
Also, I want a breath of fresh air, kind of.
Yeah, we're both looking at this as a restart, a new chapter, and we want to get away. Even though this isn't so getting away from our green, it's enough of a change that we both like green. It's my favorite color, and it's enough of a change that it's going to give us a different feel.
Also in there, if we do keep some of the built-ins, we won't necessarily have to paint all of them because they're in that warmer kind of stage.
They're somewhere in this in this area.
They're probably closer to that oak moss. Maybe
I don't know. I was thinking they're heading towards celery here because they looked white to me. Honestly, before you told me
that they're
green, they looked, well, I'll say beige. I thought they were beige.
No.
Yeah.
They're like an olivey green.
Yeah. Every time I go in there, I'm like, these are beige.
That's because of the red walls.
Mm-hmm. So to me, well, maybe rice patty here. That's what they look like to me.
They are definitely not.
I still barely saw it when you told me they were green. I'm like,
they're
okay.
Almost, all the way to the right and to the bottom.
This?
Yeah.
So no. They are nowhere near that dark.
We'll hold it up tomorrow.
Okay. I'm going to say, this is Tupelo tree. I'm going to say, everybody, we're going to hold this up and we're going to see if it's closer to rice patty.
It's more
or Tupelo tree.
If it's like in between Tupelo patty.
Tupelo tree. And a rice patty.
It's in between Tupelo tree and oak moss.
These two.
Yeah, it's the in-between color of those two.
Okay.
So if you mix those, that's what the color of the cabin.
We're gonna see.
The built-ins are.
Will you put swatches on the walls? We usually just pick and then go with it.
And one of the things is like they sell stickers now, like basically large stickers, and then you just put the giant sticker on the wall. But
you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things where you kind of have to embrace it.
We usually buy the paint with like the primer already in. You just paint over the other color. And
where did we go? Which building was it that we didn't do that? Oh, at the cottage. And I had to paint the wall 4 times.
Yeah.
We got this recycled paint, which in theory, I was like, oh, the environment. And then when I put it on, we used twice as much paint. So.
Yeah. So we get so we don't usually do a full primer before, although we're talking about maybe we will, we'll see. But we usually just use the 1 coat primer included paint, done. And the stickers, it never looks the same when you're painting over another color.
No.
Because the stickers have it's the solid background. They hide everything. It's the pure color. Whereas this, it's going to be over red. So we generally, and we could do swatches, but we usually just pick a color and go with it. It saves time, saves energy. And we kind of know what we're looking for.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I work with color every day.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it would be weird if I was trying to be indecisive about
the color
that we're picking.
Ooh, you closed the door, didn't you? I can tell. You didn't turn down the heater though.
That's what happened. I was in that meeting earlier, and we kept stretching out longer, and I started getting
dizzy, damp and dizzy. So yeah, this is probably somewhere in here. These are what the walls and furniture and accents and all that is going to look like. These strips. Most likely, I think we're probably going to go with the middle for the walls and then use the lighter and darker, maybe some oak moss. We'll see. Or maybe
this for the bathroom.
Maybe that. Maybe that for the bathroom.
This one.
What's that one? Relentless olive. It's relentless.
That looks like we're going to join the army.
It is very army green.
So we'll see if we
This
do
was
an
the
accent.
that was the one you originally picked.
Yeah. I think
For the
that'll still
bathroom.
make it lighter.
Yeah. So those might be our colors there. But we'll see. But that's what we're thinking of. That's where we're at right now with things.
It took a minute.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of choices.
There's a lot of choices, and Andrew and I both have different ideas. So we have to.
If it was me, I'd paint it all white.
Yeah, I would never. No way.
Because I like that look. All white. And then the beads are the color.
Yeah, no way. I don't like to walk into an all-white store. Even like in New York when we were there, and you go into an all-white store, and I know why they do it, but it just feels sterile. Like, I don't like that. So we had to negotiate on at least a color. At least a color. All right, everybody. Now let's look at some pins.
So, as many of you know, William's job, his other job, burned down, and then my dad died, and what else horrible thing happened? It was just a lot of
I had
stuff.
heart issues. You lost relationships.
And you're
We almost lost Barnaby.
You can't go to your pharmacist anymore.
I have to find a new pharmacist now. I've realized that just happened. Let's not talk about all that now.
No, but the reason why I mention that is because originally I was supposed to go to the ECU Material Topic Symposium in Greenville, North Carolina this past weekend, yesterday and the day before. And one of the things that they do is a pin swap. And when I talk about like a pin swap, sometimes I think people think like cheapy deepy, kind of like things. But these people actually have spent a lot of time and effort. Well, some people spend a lot of time and effort into making their pins.
Yeah. And I talked about that a little bit on my post when I shared this post of Andrew's. For me, I look at the pin swaps and I look like some of these are super famous artists that we could never afford their work, or they sell out before you ever get a chance to even buy it.
Or they don't have work for sale.
Or they don't have work for sale at all. And these pin swaps are a thing that if you do a job that they like your pin and you get to swap with them, it's a great opportunity to be able to collect their work. Mm-hmm. And so
I love that.
Yeah, and it's and most artists are very generous with swapping with people. Mm-hmm. So, everybody puts a lot of time in, but depending on your experience level and how well known you are, and everybody's time can be different, but you still put a lot of time and energy into your pieces, and everyone is generally very generous with swapping.
Yeah, we went. I taught in Port Townsend at Art Fest. Oh goodness, it's a while ago now. But they had this thing where they swapped ATCs, and those are kind of like what the ACEOs are based off of, the artist trading cards. And it was like a frenzy. I mean, the room was like 100 degrees because there was all these people crammed in. Everybody's swapping and showing, and and it was such a lovely thing. And
and so like I was saying too, is that this is what Andrew created this idea for, was to trade with other artists and possibly people who don't even make things for sale, that only do museum work, or only, that or sell out before you can ever get it. And so we price them at $30, which in some cases, these may have been exchanged for things that are priceless. Mm-hmm. And he put the effort into making these that he would put into wanting to exchange with someone that he admires.
Yeah, I don't want somebody to say they don't want to trade with me.
Right. So the only reason that these are available is because he didn't get to go.
Mm-hmm.
And this series, his silhouette series, generally he doesn't make anything that's ever in this price range or even available for sale.
Yeah, I think the cheapest one is like 600.
So when you think about, like, I don't know if he's going to keep the silhouette series generally at that. I don't know what his plans are in the long run. But for me, when I look at these, I look at them as this is part of that series, something that's instantly recognizable and getting more and more so in this jewelry world as his work. And you're getting it for $30 and you're getting an original.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there are things like the laser does help me cut the shapes out. But I also had to do a lot of hand finishing because the laser didn't cut all the way through. So on some of the backs of them, and I'll sign and date all of them before. I'm also going to put a top coat on top. It's just the weather's been too cold. So hopefully we'll get a day that's above freezing so I don't get asphyxiated. But I'm going to put a top coat on top just to seal it so it's a little bit more durable. But for me, so I call this little mini collection Inner Jungles because it kind of looks very much like a tropical forest. And also, I kind of feel like jungles and forests as places of kind of refuge and solace, but also they are kind of like the natural world in its most distilled kind of form. So very primal and shapes and colors and there's a lot of boldness that happens in those kinds of places. And so for these, I kind of wanted to marry my collages that I've been making that you've seen recently and my silhouettes. So I did get a little bit crazy with the gold paint on some of them, but
I think it's cool. I also think some of they almost have an 80s vibe to me.
I can see that.
And I think that's super cool, especially very timely right now, as far as fashion wise.
Well, I think they're fun. I mean, I don't know if anybody's going to want them because they're a picture of my head.
And they were intended for a different purpose. But like I said, I think this is a chance to get something from your silhouette collection at a price that most people could afford, which may not happen again, ever, depending on what you decide to do with that kind of style.
Yeah, this is mostly, I mean, I make a lot of different kind of work. And so there's a lot of aspects of what it means to be a creative entrepreneur and survive. I'm not at a level yet where I can just do whatever I want.
And sell it for however much you want.
Yeah, I'm not in that category where I can smear stuff on the walls and then
sell it for 60,000
and
then sell the ashes for $60,000
for $1 million.
Yeah,
I'm not in that kind of world, and I probably will never be in that kind of world, and that's fine. I think it's all about how we kind of navigate our interests and the things that pique our curiosity and what moves us to make. And so a lot of my stuff has a very fantasy and whimsical quality to it. I think there's something to be said about that. you know, in this world, oftentimes it's very harsh and brutal. And sometimes you need to escape that. And, you know, it's funny because somebody's like, well, this is so different from the work you make. And I don't know. I think it's how you view it. Like, the reason that I was interested in fantasy as a child is that I was escaping my reality and home life. So it makes sense to me. Like, visually, the Noble Creatures collection may not have a direct correlation to this. However, I think it's like a spoke on a wheel. It's a facet to the stone. It's something that it's a part of it, but it's not necessarily like the only thing. So with these, I've been trying to merge some of the different things with some of my other, like my museum work that I do. And a lot of times with the self-portraits, when I'm thinking, it's like what I'm thinking about in this world. Like what, you know, it's a more direct conversation about identity, and particularly my identity and how I see the world. And so, you know, it is very specific in that sense of the way. But then also I think about cameos and how, you know, one of the first major piece in that series is called Many Faces, and it's made up of a bunch of cameos. Those cameos used to be somebody. You know, they were depictions of loved ones. They were antique cameos that were hand carved. That depict people in particular, but now nobody knows who those people are. And in a way, because I was like, who's going to picture my head? You know, even though I've been painting self-portraits for I don't know how long, since a long time ago.
Yeah, if you missed his tour through his college years, check that video out. There were some of the self-portraits there.
I think the ones that I sold the most that were my self-portraits. So I don't have a lot of that stuff. A lot of that stuff is all, like, I was not super good at documenting all of that. And I had taken slides with my work at one point, but then somebody stole my slide portfolio. And so there's a whole section of work I made that just disappeared. And I doubt that those people were like really into art and were like, oh, slides. They probably just threw it in the garbage.
Susan says, I love the three-dimensional aspect of these brooches.
Thanks. It's made of layers and layers of collage that are built up of the painted papers. And a lot of times they're the negative space that I have that are from the pieces of paper that I cut. So like when I do the leaf shapes, those are the positives, and then the space around it is the negative space. But I love those spaces because they have those similar kind of botanical feel to them. They still have those really lovely lines and kind of curves and stuff. So instead of throwing it away, they're used in this way so that nothing gets wasted.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been researching different ways of then taking the different parts and then using them in other ways too. So like for some of the pieces, they eventually get worked so much that I'm just going to have to start over. And I've started learning. I learned how to make paper last year. And I feel like I'm getting to the point where some of these collages are so dense that they're going to probably get turned into paper. Start the cycle over again.
All over again. Cindy says, love them.
So I don't know if people are interested in these. I know that it's kind of like a weird, not necessarily weird, but it's something that I wasn't expecting to put here.
For sale.
No. And so
That's why we didn't do a huge build up of it or lead up or show you previews of it, or it
I
was.
think they did show preview.
Did you?
I was like, this is what I'm working on. Because at that point, I still thought I was going to the EC symposium.
And just so y'all know, like the pins on these, they're not the same pin backs. Andrew actually drilled holes in all of these and riveted down pins. These are like different than our stick-on pins that we use in our $12 pins that we make.
They're a little bit more sturdy.
Yeah, they'll be a little more sturdy. They're done as more of a collector piece. And
no, I will say the sticker back ones are awesome.
Yeah.
They're so fast.
So fast, and they're great for what we use them for.
For these, I thought I needed to do a little bit more.
Make them handmade.
Make them a little bit more robust. Because I did a pin swap of some of the cut acrylic, and then somebody's like, yeah, I smashed the pin. And I guess they got caught on something and got pulled off. Which, I mean, if you're working with stuff like that, that's not out of the realm of possibility.
No.
But these are a little bit more sturdy. And after I put the top coats on, they'll be even more, weatherproof.
Yeah. So that's what we've got for you today.
Yeah, I know, not too exciting, but we've been super busy trying to figure things out and moving things around and making plans and trying to figure out the weather situation. I think that's really kind of put a damper on some of our.
Ooh, that's for sure. We did not expect, like, the whole time we're planning everything, we're thinking about everything. It's like in the 30s, in the 40s, in the 50s even. It's like, oh, this is a mild winter. As soon as we make the decision to do all this, the temperatures drop and the wind kicks up about 30 miles per hour. And
well, that's the thing, is that where we are, the branches go and they fall down on the road, and then you can lose power. Last year we lost power for, was it a week and a half at the cottage, or is it 2 weeks?
We lost power for quite a while, off and on, especially because we still had some heat here and there, but they'd fix it.
I had to remember last year I had to get all of my art supplies.
That's true. We took your computer too.
So there was.
I forgot about that.
And our car was stranded there too, the van, and they closed the road while they did the cleanup.
Yeah.
We had to do the back behind roads to get to the cottage.
Yeah, we luckily found a restaurant open to eat because nothing was open.
Yeah, so that was hard. And
our neighbor Susan just joined in. Hello.
Howdy.
Hello. So said, I'm very late. That's okay. That's okay. Donna says, thankfully.
We talked to you the most today.
I know. Donna says, thankfully the wind will keep the ice from forming, and I'm retired, so I'm parking too at the house. I don't blame you. Marion says, I know that feeling. Not much got done in the bitter cold we are having here. Yeah, I bet not.
I don't feel like that. I don't have that get up and go.
No. I don't even mind the winter, and I don't want to leave the house. Like, it's been hard, even though I've left the house almost every day. I'd leave it every day to let Barnaby out because he likes to go out for at least a second and go out on the porch. Today, he ran around. We ran around for probably 10, 15 minutes outside.
No way. I was like, y'all have fun.
But, luckily Barb went in today, so I didn't have to run up to fill up the pellet stove. But I did kick it up a notch, so we're going to have to fill it more often while it's really, really cold.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what we have for you today. We're going to go make some food and continue doing some stuff. And we'll see you back here probably tomorrow, everybody. So have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. These are in the online store at allegorygallery.com if you'd like to grab any of them. They are $30 each. And they'll be in there for a while. I don't know if Andrew will decide to take them down at any point. If he has another pin swap to go to, it might happen. So grab them if you like. Thank you all so much. Have a great night, everybody.
See ya.